like this, a 2-0 with a couple first-round knockouts. And to Belalia's credit, he's not. So often you see him headhunting.
Yeah.
They're just trying to take your head off with every punch. And that's when these guys see the fight through comfortably.
Absolutely.
It's the fighters that pick their shots that get the stoppages against journeymen. You know.
But when do you pick out? You know, something that's going to do. When they're in with a fight with journeyman, it's hard to tell, isn't it? It's hard to gauge. You know, if you're outside the ring, you're watching boxing, you haven't seen a lot of it. How do you gauge how good this kid's going to be?
You're not really going to, you know, in a fight against Daryl Sharp, unless you know you've seen him as the amateurs. You have to see him more than once. But you just look for him to do a bit of everything. You know, we're seeing here, he's got a long right hand, seems quite, you know, decent enough. There seems a bit of snap in it. You know, maybe a bit more authority with his jab.
Exactly. I mean, what I'm seeing is somebody's got a 2-0 record. He's certainly been patient. He's not rushing anything, is he? So he's not excitable.
No, and that's what you need to do. You know, a good temperament. You know, as we were saying earlier, too many of these guys go in to just take heads off.
Tries to double it up. The jab just falls a bit short, Belalia.
But if you look at it already, you also get the impression that Sharp is happy just to see out the 4 rounds. You know, the odd overhand rights coming in that we saw one earlier that's missing by a mile. He's in there Sharp, and he's feeling from. While he might be up against a decent prospect here, Sharp in his mind knows by not being too ambitious, and it's a fight he can get through comfortably.
Yeah. Sharp having success with his jab, boxing out the southpaw stance. Belalia just looking to control, not in a rush, got the center of the ring.
But you know, he can perhaps not rush, hold the center of the ring because there's so little coming back. You know, he's giving him nothing to think about.
He's got a bit of a personality. He's talking to Sharp now. And that just manages to upset Sharp, who's starting to get a little bit rough in there, a little bit wild with the head.
A bit of a touch gloves. He's a real flashy fighter. Like at the end of the first round, his hands are in the air to the crowd at the end of each round. One thing Belalia's not short of is confidence, Glenn.
Yeah, as I said,
it
is good. You know, I mean, we've been around the whole careers of the Mayweathers, the Nazim Hameds, and, you know, but we've also been around a lot of fighters that's shown some confidence and ended up getting knocked out. So, you know, there's a lesson to be learned there. You got to be good. You got to be good to be a showman and pull it all off.
And it would be against fighters, you know, of a lot more ambition than what Daryl's got at this stage of his career.
Seconds out, round 3.
Well, it's Sharp straight out, looking to mean business, trying to rough Belalia up in the 3rd round. Belalia quick to get back in control behind that jab. Got a good jab, but as I've said, just he throws that jab out nice and sharp, but brings it back to the waist. So, you know, anybody who's going to face him, I'll just give you a little tip. Look for a right hand after that jab.
Yeah. And also, if you throw that jab, throw a bit more authority. You know, you've got the long arms to put a bit more behind
you know,
it.
if you're studying, you know, obviously I've been around boxing a long time and many fights, but you just watch. If you know, a sharp opponent will look at Belalia. They'll see every time he throws his jab, that left hand comes straight back to the waist. So what are you going to do? Step in with a big right hand? Falling short a little bit, missing with the jab.
Falling short twice there, 3 times. 4 times he's fallen short there with it.
Belalia, you know, he's winning these rounds comfortably enough, but I'd like to see him in a little bit more of a hurry, Steve.
Yeah, maybe he's too patient, too controlled.
you know, he's also, you know, he's building up a record, but you're there to entertain as well. And I think, you know, if you're going to build a fan base, you need to be and to produce the goods.
Daryl Sharp just teasing him. He's absolutely untroubled, isn't he, Sharp?
Yeah, he's strong. He knows the game. I mean, when you've had 101 fights, you know what you're doing in there to get through these fights without too much trouble. Well, he's content just to work away with that jab, building up the points. So the right hand goes in there. Nothing to trouble Sharp.
Yeah, and Sharp nodding his head there, then he flicked that right hand there. You're not going to hurt me, look on his face.
Is it Adam Bilalia's intention to base himself in the UK from
I'm going to
now on,
ask him
Steve?
if he wins. I'm going to ask him afterwards. I just know he had his box for Sweden. Everything like one of those guys we see get to 9, 10 and 0.